Hey everyone, and welcome to the first ever Type 2 Reboot vlog. The point of these Type 2 Tuesday videos is to act as a weekly journal to give you guys an update on how I'm proceeding as far as reversing my Type 2 diabetes naturally and my continued health and fitness journey. And because this is not only the first Type 2 Tuesday ever, but also the first ever video for this channel, I'm going to spend a little extra time explaining the channel and my goals and aspirations for it, and really hope you guys come along for the journey. Anyway, we have a lot to cover, so let's get started. Hey everyone, my name is Blinn. Before we get started, I think it's really important that you guys know that I am not a doctor, I am not a nutritionist, dietitian, or any other kind of medical professional. I'm just a guy who's reversed type 2 diabetes naturally, had really good success with it, is a continuing, probably lifelong journey, and I really wanted to help others with type 2 diabetes be able to do the same as me, or even pre-diabetes. It all comes down to the same thing. And on this channel, that's the focus. We're going to talk a lot about that. I do actually have a full backstory history video, my successes and failures of diabetes, weight loss, and other related kind of things coming. But for now, let's just kind of go over a little bit about me. I'm an obese 46-year-old type 2 diabetic with pretty bad peripheral neuropathy in my feet and lower legs. I have retinal neuropathy, worse in my right eye, and I just have the worst level of fitness. Oh, and I also talk really fast sometimes. I'm sorry, I'm from the East Coast of the United States. It's just a thing. I'll try to do my best. So, how did I do? Okay, there's clearly a lot more to me than just that. I'm also a game developer. I've been making games professionally for over 25 years now, but we'll save all that for another day. For now, this channel and me are really focused on reversing type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, and the like. I've been diagnosed a type 2 diabetic for about 17 years now. About 3 years ago, it got really bad really fast. I ended up in the ER. My blood sugar level was over 500. My A1C was a 14.1, and I was in pretty dire straits. I did every medical test under the sun. I had a lot of other conditions that started happening because of the bad type 2 diabetes, and I started being put on a bunch of medicines. The last of which was insulin. I was taking 90 units a day of Lantus, and it still wasn't helping. My blood sugars were still up in the 200s. Horrible morning dawn phenomenon blood sugar level, and everything that goes along with that. And I was getting desperate. My doctors basically were telling me, you got 3 to 5 years, we're doing everything we can. So I decided to take my health back into my own hands completely and start down at the bottom. What causes type 2 diabetes? And research and build my way up from there to see if there's anything I could do. And like many others, that research led me to the keto diet and intermittent fasting. There's a lot of information out there that I started to find. I started with YouTube and did a lot of searching, saw a lot of doctors, scientists talking about this, and eventually started to dive into actual medical studies to really understand the root cause of hyperinsulinemia, insulin resistance, as you may have heard it called, and how I could start the process of reversing that problem and see how it would affect my type 2 diabetes. And like many other people who have type 2 diabetes who have tried keto and or intermittent fasting, I started having great success almost immediately. I ended up losing, till date as of today, about 80 pounds now. My A1C is now a 5.5. At least as of last month. I do get it checked every 3 months, and those A1C updates will be part of this series. So problem solved, right? I mean, it was that easy. I just learned what I had to do. I did it, and ta-da, my diabetes reversed, and I'm perfectly cured. Of course, that isn't true. And it wasn't as easy as all that. I had a lot of learning to do along the way. And one thing I realized is that on YouTube, a lot of articles, there are a lot of great doctors, scientists, engineers, nutritionists, a lot of people talking about type 2 diabetes and reversing it with a ketogenic diet or intermittent fasting. But the problem was I wasn't really finding anybody else with type 2 diabetes, especially as severe as I had it, and trying to go through the process. When you first hear, oh, keto will help me. So you start looking up keto. Well, the problem is keto by itself, it's great, and people use it as a diet for weight loss and things like that. And I did lose a lot of weight, but there are things that a type 2 diabetic needs to understand or modify, or has to be extra aware of that just any other person without type 2 diabetes doing keto doesn't have to worry about. So I ended up having a lot of questions that I couldn't get answered. And so, I spent a lot of time and effort and spent a lot of time in Facebook groups and, Reddit and YouTube and just researching everywhere I could to try to get answers to these questions. Some I did, some I just crossed my fingers and, tried my best and learned myself along the way. And that's really at the heart of why I wanted to start Type 2 Reboot, is I wanted to be able to share those past experiences and help other Type 2 diabetics. Because at the end of the day, this really did work for me very well. And continues to work very well for me. And anybody who's suffering or, living a shorter life, side effects of medications, all of that stuff, I just want to help get the word out there that there could be a better solution. And if I at least provide all the information and experience that I've had, then maybe that can help other people as well, and at least get them started doing their own research. At the end of the day, I'm not here to hype anything up, be it the keto diet, intermittent fasting, plant-based, carnivore, any of that stuff. These are all things I've looked into. I've been experimenting myself to see what works best for me as a Type 2 diabetic, and that's what I want to share with you all. If the science changes, if we learn more, if things change, if my health isn't right, something happens because of something I did, that's all stuff I plan on sharing on this channel. And before I forget, if you guys are interested in this kind of content and either you yourself have Type 2 diabetes or you know a loved one that does, please hit subscribe and also share this channel. It really will help me get the word out to others. And at the end of the day, I just want to be able to help other people do what I'm doing and to get healthier. So thanks. So with that, let's get to today's Type 2 Tuesday update. So it's kind of weird actually to give a weekly update when I've never given an update before, but I might as well get in the habit. So let's start. In the past week, I've lost a little over 2 pounds. I don't try to lose weight. That's just been an amazing side effect of controlling my diabetes through a ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting. My average morning fasting blood glucose level was 104, and my daily average after meals was also 104. So overall, it was really good this week. So one thing that I did recently that I can talk about now is about 2 weeks ago, I stopped taking the last drug that I was on, which was metformin. I was taking 2,000 milligrams of metformin extended release daily, 1,000 in the morning and 1,000 at night. And I stopped that completely just to see how my insulin sensitivity was on its own. And so I gave it 2 weeks to really just kind of get metformin out of my system and kind of see where I was. The numbers weren't too bad. I was spiking at about 124 to 130. The problem is that was a little high for me. So I decided to come back on it. So I started with just 500 milligrams once a day. And that's been going pretty well. That kind of got me to that 104 average blood sugar that I mentioned earlier. But sometimes I do still spike. And I plan to do a little more eating to my meter and figuring out the certain trigger foods that are causing me to bump up a little higher. But I would still see 125 sometimes. And so I'm going to go up to 1,000 milligrams a day and keep that for a while longer until I can get some insulin sensitivity tests done, which I do have upcoming in a couple months. And again, that's all stuff I'll share with you. Now, on the fitness front, that's the journey that's just starting right now. I just did start walking again and trying to go to the gym. The gym is touch and go right now, mainly because of what's going on in the world, but I do try to make it. But I do have some people in my household, and myself still as a Type 2 diabetic, that needs to be cautious. So I make sure that it's not very populated. If it is, I'll skip that and just try to go for a walk instead. But either way, I've just started doing it. I am awful right now. I used to be a lot better at it. I was actually pretty fit for a while. But these days, because of how sick I've been for so long and the neuropathy in my legs, which is slowly improving, it's been hard for me to exercise. But anyway, when it comes to fitness, I have a long way to go. And you guys stick around. Really, this is the start of that progress and that journey. And I'll be sure to keep sharing that with you as I improve. Now let's get to the questions section. Now, I don't actually have any questions because, as you know, this channel is now brand new. This is the first ever video. I don't even really have subscribers yet. But I really hope in the future that people do have questions. And if you do, please ask in the comments below, and I'll do my best to try to answer them. Also, if you have any requests for videos, I'm starting to plan out a roadmap of all the videos I want to make, but I really would like to know what my subscribers are interested in seeing, and so I can give those priority. And if you have an idea that I haven't thought of yet, that's even better. I'd really like to end this first video with a huge thank you to everybody who's watched this far, and double thank you if you've actually subscribed, liked, commented, and shared this with others. It's really going to be people just like you who are subscribing and sharing that are going to allow me to help get the word out and help others, which is my ultimate goal. And with that, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.